Hi, citizen of the world. Welcome to the very first episode of Fastlanes podcast, brought to you by the one and only Yeshua, Marian David. So, today is a very special episode since it's the first episode. So, let me just talk about why I started this podcast and why it's named Fastlanes and why am I doing this. I sound like a stupid idiot right now talking to this microphone connected to my laptop. I've never done this ever in my life and it feels weird, just like the situation we're in right now, this weird quarantine thing. I mean, it's not weird in the sense that it's just protecting us, but it's weird because we've never experienced this ever in our lives. So, yeah, where was I? Yeah, I was talking about the why I started this. So, fast lanes. It's named fast lanes, like the fast lane on a highway, because here's my analogy on life or my let's say just my metaphor on life. Life is like a highway and there are other people riding in that highway. You're in a car, you're going about your own pace and everyone is going about their own pace, their own speed. Someone is going fast, someone is going slow in that highway, but inevitably life is always gonna steer or stir you to the way of the fast lane, to that fast lane highway, on the highway. Why? Because life always has certain situations that would get your blood going faster, that would get your life in a rush, that would have your life in a rush. There's always those situations where you have to run instead of just walk. There's always those situations where you have to hurry instead of relax. And that's why I named this podcast Fast Lanes, because I want to talk to people that are living on the fast lane of life, that are living in such a way that feels like they're hurrying up, but they're really not hurrying up. They're just doing what everyone else is supposed to be doing, what you're supposed to be doing, and that's making the most out of the number of years that you have here on earth. Because think of it this way: uh, a human being has a life expectancy. Someone or anyone is expected to die at a certain age. And that certain age, let's just say that it's 75. So if you're 19 or you're 20 or you're 25 or you're 30 or 40, you've used up a certain percentage of your life already. And you have a small amount or maybe still a big amount, but you just have a limited amount of percentage in your life left. And living on the fast lane is probably the only solution to make the most out of your life. I'm not telling you to hurry about anything. I'm just telling you to go out there and do something. That's why I am doing this podcast. I am taking this step towards the fast lane. Or maybe I am now decided to drive my car, my car life, or maybe my life car to the fast lane of the highway because it's still inevitable. So why not do it now, especially in this weird situation, this quarantine that we're in? So yeah, and this decision has a lot to do with positivity in my life. The content that I've been consuming, the my environment and everything else, because the past few weeks or maybe the past month in this quarantine, all I was doing was reading. I read a lot of books, listened to a lot of authors talk about their books, listened to a lot of positive YouTubers, and I really did not pay attention to the news about the corona because I know we're still gonna get through it if we just follow the things that the government is telling us and the things that the health experts, let's say, or the doctors that are trying to fight the corona. If we just listen to them and stop complaining, we're still gonna get through this anyway. So yeah, I decided to not listen so much to the news, especially to the negative ones. And I remained on the positive side. I remained on self improvement. And that's how it pushed me to start this. I mean, I am so afraid of talking right now. My voice is a little bit shaky. I am sweating. But I heard this speech. I think it's from a president or maybe a political figure of the United States. Uh, and a certain quote in this speech really just changed everything about my life. And the quote is simply this. He said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. In any situation, in anything about your life, about the world, about politics, and just anything, business, whatever, the only thing that you have to fear is fear itself. That's it. Because fear is the thing that really is the drive, not the driving force, but the stopping force of anything that you want to do in your life. You want to start a business? Oh, I'm afraid to take the risk. No, you're not going to be able to start that business until you're afraid of taking the risk. I mean, I heard Kobe Bryant say something in one of his speeches or maybe his public speaking events about his Mamba mentality. And he said, if you don't figure out a way to stop fearing failure, then you're probably not going to be successful. That's it. If you're afraid to fail, then you're going to fail. I think there's something wrong with that idea. It makes sense, but there's something wrong with that idea because everyone is just afraid to fail. But I think the message that he's trying to convey is when you're afraid to take the risk and you're not gonna do anything about that, or you're just not gonna do anything because you're afraid, you're never gonna get there because you're always gonna miss the shots that you don't take. Let's say you're playing basketball, you have 0 points. Why do you have 0 points? You can't make the excuse of missing your shots because you haven't took, or maybe you did not take any shots. That's it. You're gonna miss the shot that you're never gonna take. And listen to this. The human race, because we're humans and you're listening to this podcast and you're a human being. The human race has survived so many things, both self induced and natural disasters. We have survived World War One, World War Two, plague. What do you call that plague? Black plague, or maybe the bubonic plague, and now the coronavirus. And people are surviving it. Don't get me wrong, the corona is still there, but people are surviving it. People from all over the globe are surviving it. I know personal people or personal friends of mine, personal people who have a personal connection with me, who has been hit by the corona and has now, you know, what do you call this? Is now a recovered patient, a survivor of corona, and I'm really proud to say, or I'm really proud to point out that we shouldn't be focusing on the number of deaths or the number of lives that this corona thing is taking. We should be focusing on the number of recoveries, the number of people who have conquered corona. Why? Because if you're a patient, let's say you're a patient and you have been infected by the corona. I don't want you to get infected, don't get me wrong. But if you're a patient and you're in a hospital and there's this TV in your hospital that talks about the and a news is playing on the TV talking about corona, and the news emphasizes the number of deaths in the entire world because of corona, and you're a patient of corona, how are you going to feel? Yeah. Yeah, you're going to feel really 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 down, really really negative. But what if the news talks about the positive things that are happening during the corona? The number of people that are recovering, the number of people that are helping, the number of people that are receiving help. You're going to be stronger if you're the patient. And even if you're not the patient, you're still going to feel really really amazing. your hope in humanity is gonna rise. So, yeah, let's remain on the positive side. And by the way, remaining on the positive side, please, just please, do not emphasize or do not listen to the background noise that I have right now because I'm recording from my home and there's a lot of chickens around the house and they're all just it's noisy. So yeah, don't mind the background noise. And if the quality of this podcast sucks, yeah, because my equipment sucks right now. But I've made the commitment to keep doing this for the rest of my years here on Earth. So yeah, you have to expect that. I'm gonna be posting 2 to 7 podcasts every day. And maybe soon I'll be on YouTube. So you gotta watch that out too. I'll try my best to grow to the point. My God, shut up, chicken. I'm gonna try my best to grow to the point of being able to invite influential people over to talk about anything. Uh, yeah, this podcast is really weird. I mean, the systems of maybe Spotify and all the hosting agents for podcasts, their systems is gonna be like weirded out because when you start a podcast, essentially you have to have a niche or a certain thing that you always talk about in every single one of your episodes. My podcast is a random shit. I just talk about random shit here. And I put hobbies on my niche. So I'm not talking about my hobbies, I'm just talking about random shit. Maybe I'm going to talk about my hobbies soon enough. Or maybe someone else's hobbies. Or maybe someone else, a guest of mine, is going to come and talk about a lot of things. But as of now, I'm talking about random shit. So these platforms are really weirded out by my podcast. And if you're still listening up to this point, my God, wherever you are in the world, either I have to say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you. Whoever you are, you human being, if you're still listening 12 minutes into my podcast, you are greatly appreciated. You can send me a voice message in my Anchor profile and I'm going to reply to you as soon as I can. Thank you so, so much. So maybe I'm going to end my podcast right here, right now. This is my very first episode. Let me just have this as a short episode. It's going to be like a teaser for the coming episodes that I will have. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for spending a certain percentage of your life listening to my podcast. And I hope this has put some value in your life. And again, let me just repeat what I said earlier. The only thing that you have to fear is fear itself. That's it. So, thank you, human being, whoever you are, wherever you are, and you are appreciated. I hope you stay on the positive side of life and keep riding on that fast lane. Thank you so much.